Guys, welcome to this episode of Kerie's Quick Tarot. I'm going to pull a reading from the cards today and see what the message is that I am to relay to whoever's going to be tuning in. This is a live stream right now, but at some point it will be a replay. And so whether you're here live or watching the replay, I appreciate your energy, your energetic exchange is appreciated. So thank you so much. All right, now before I start, I want to ring my bell. So if you have any sensitivities to sound, you might want to kind of turn the volume down a little bit. But I'm going to ring this. And what this does is it helps clear the energy in my space. Okay. I'm also going to just kind of use my sage spray. All right. So actually, I have something in my bag that I want to read. This is something that I was guided to put together, and so I'm going to read it here before I get started. All right, this video is for entertainment purposes. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, so this is a statement that I would like to read, and it says, I do not consent to the stalking, monitoring, or hacking of me or my children. I do not consent to any insurance policies of any kind taken out on me or any of my children without my consent. I have not given consent. I do not consent to anyone copying my energy or my likeness or my voice. Ooh, let me add that in. If you would like to support me in my efforts, purchase something from my website at legacykeyleaf.com. That's legacykeyleaf.com. So just wanted to get some of that housekeeping in the way. Okay? All right. So let's begin. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the star energy. And then at the cut of the deck, we've got this Two of Wands energy. So let's see. It seems that perhaps there's someone who's someone who's creative and has a lot going for themselves with their self-confidence, abundance, may have an opportunity to move forward in something. All right, so let's just kind of see what's going on. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Please help guide this message. Thank you very much. For whoever it is, for whoever may be tuning into this message either now or later. Thank you. We've got a Queen of Cups energy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if at any point during this reading you are inspired to give it a like, a comment. Ooh, a lot going on. I'm going to put these back, but look at that. There's some devil energy. What is devil energy? Devil energy is opposition. People who are in opposition. So let's call them ops, okay? All right. So perhaps you might be experiencing a situation where you have some ops or some energies that are in opposition to whatever it is that you are looking to accomplish. All right. But if at any point during this video, if you're so inspired, consider giving it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So what's going on? We've got a star energy with a new approach, with a new opportunity to move forward with something, and then they've got some ops. Interesting. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Please help guide this message. Thank you. We'll see what that card is. I like them to flip face up, but we'll see what that is. We've got an Eight of Cups. Okay, Eight of Cups energy. So someone who's looking forward to obtaining some more emotional stability. Interesting. Put that back. Let's see. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me, please help guide this. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for those of you who are joining in. If you are so inspired, consider giving this video a like as you join. That would definitely help with others being able to discover this video. Thank you. All right. Source higher self. It's a very interesting energy since I've started this reading. But let's see, let's take what just came out. Starting out with judgment. Okay. So it seems that there's someone or a group or some folks who are experiencing themselves being under some type of judgment, okay? And for whatever it is that they participated in, that landed them with, let's call it a verdict of sorts, where they may be guilty of something. And we've got this Knight of Cups energy. So Knight of Cups, this is an energy who is looking to maybe make something right, okay? Maybe approach a situation from a standpoint of an apology, okay? Perhaps someone who is looking to, establish something new and different. They want to send a message that they kind of want to offer some type of an emotional connection of some sort. A knight, messages. Page of Swords, they kind of want to start new in a communicative standpoint. So they want to have a new, pages are kind of like students. So they kind of want to learn how to maybe talk to you. All right. But they're under judgment. Ace of Wands. Okay, this is a new beginning and creativity. So the question is, who is holding this Ace of Wands here? And then we've got this Nine of Wands. So it appears that someone has gone through a lot of, in this context, I'm looking at wands as magic, okay? I'm looking at wands as manifestations, okay? I'm looking at wands as something that maybe they had some sort of power that they kind of went through a lot and maybe lost. And I'm saying that because now they're in a position where they have to kind of take all of those wands and kind of go somewhere else. Why would they have to go somewhere else? Perhaps because they're under judgment. So the question is, what did they do that landed them under judgment, where they kind of are looking to make an apology and communicate differently, to maybe establish a new beginning with having some power. All right. So this card here, this 10 of Wands, they kind of are in a position where they still have some wands. So they still have some abilities. They still have some skills. And it's just that they are now finding themselves where they have to really get creative with what they're going to do with what they still have left. Okay? So it appears perhaps in this judgment situation, they maybe were not stripped of everything, right? Because they survived something, even though they're kind of beat up a little bit or a lot. They survived something. They still have some of their skills intact, but they just have to take them somewhere else. for whatever it is that they did that landed them in a position of having judgment called on them. So maybe they used their, maybe they had, an opportunity to really do something good with their skills, with their talents. And maybe they just didn't. And maybe they landed themselves in a position where they had to, hmm, maybe, maybe, maybe whatever it was that, maybe however they used their skills in a not so good way, maybe it came back at them. So maybe whatever the energy is that they sent out came back to them, and maybe they got kind of beat up by their own work. I'd say I'd say it's kind of powerful for, for someone to kind of get a little beat up by their own work. And so maybe whatever it was, however they mishandled, misused their skills, judgment was called on them. They want to apologize, have a different method of communicating, maybe with someone. So, who did they offend, and why do they want to apologize? Sometimes when people get in trouble, when people get caught in a situation, you know, the thing that folks are encouraged to do is to apologize, right? And to see how they can fix something in order to maybe lessen whatever the sentence may be. So maybe that's what they're attempting to do. Maybe that's what they've done. They, you know, whoever's resonating with this message, if you're watching. Maybe this is someone in your experience. So perhaps this is not you, but perhaps this is a situation that you are experiencing now, or may have already experienced, or may be, on a horizon. But it seems that whoever that individual is in your experience, they kind of have to pick up their skills and go elsewhere. Wherever that place may be, they definitely still have an ability of sorts. They don't have as many. So they started out with the gamut of skill set, okay? Like they had, you know, they had it all, you know. If you look at this, it's kind of like a divine hand, right? So they had some favor with the divine. Somehow, in whatever the mismanagement of their skills, where judgment was called on them, you know, they went down to having nine wands here. Okay, so they had 10, landed with 9, and here the divine is like, okay, well, hey, it may not have the divine hand on it as it once did, but they're landing here with 10 wands. Okay, where they have to take them somewhere else and start anew. And then we've got this card here, this 3 of wands. When I see 3, I'm thinking an ability to manifest. I think magic, but not anything nefarious. So if they want to kind of rectify whatever the situation was that they found themselves in from having judgment called on them, perhaps they really have to do something different. Turn this land here that doesn't look like it has a whole lot going on with it, and really try to create something better, do better than whatever they did before that landed them losing this Ace of Wands and landing in a position where, they kind of got pretty beat up from judgment being called on them. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. We don't know who this is. Okay. It's just kind of telling a story. Kind of like storyboards. Okay. Let's see. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Are there any other cards associated with this message where this individual is placed under judgment? Are we to know who this individual may be? What it is maybe they did? All right, so it seems that there were some options. Cups representing emotions. Okay, so perhaps they had some options dealing with emotions or relationship. Okay, we also have this card here where they want to send a message of an emotional message of sorts. So maybe whatever they were placed under judgment for had to do something with a mismanagement of emotions. There's a lot of choices here, right? So in this Seven of Cups card, perhaps in all of these choices, perhaps they did not choose correctly. And as a result of not choosing correctly, they were placed under judgment. And, an apology is something that it seems that they'd like to offer as a message, also wanting to start new with communication. Let's see if there's anything else with this. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Thank you. Thank you for this insight. For whoever it's resonating for, please help guide this. If there's anything else that is to come out about this. Okay. All right. So it seems, okay. Now we're just kind of getting more pieces to this to uncover the story here. So whoever this energy was or is, and we still don't know just yet, it hasn't been uncovered, but they didn't choose correctly, and whatever that choice was, they wanted to really hold on to it. So maybe it had something to do with finances. We've got these pentacles here, right? So perhaps whatever it was that they chose from an emotional standpoint, they it had something to do with finance and some type of a collaboration. Okay, so they collaborated. They wanted to hold on to that collaboration, but it was not the right choice. As a result, they were put under judgment. Oh my. Let's see what else. Got the Temperance card here. Okay, Temperance representing balance. So when I see that right now, I'm thinking, maybe balance was not in the equation. So maybe the person just wasn't balanced in their approach to however they were handling the situation. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Please help guide this. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else that I am to relay as a result with this message? Okay. So here's what just came out. So now we're getting some more insight as to who. Okay. So someone's been placed under judgment. Okay. I'll just do a recap. They want to make an apology. They want to have a new start in communication. They kind of want to, figure out how to talk to you. They had the Ace of Wands, meaning they had the ability to really manifest whatever it was that they wanted to manifest. But apparently, they did not use their skills wisely. And as a result, whatever the energies were that they sent out from a malicious standpoint came back to kind of kick their kick came back to kick their ass. As a result of that, they have to take their skills somewhere else, wherever that somewhere else may be for them, and they have to kind of figure out how to turn whatever this place is into something that could work for them. We also discovered that there was some type of emotional options. Okay, so they had some options they picked incorrectly. Okay, they held on to that choice, and perhaps they picked incorrectly here because it had something to do with holding on to some type of wealth. Okay, so maybe whatever this option was, maybe there was some wealth attached to it that they wanted to really hold on to. And so they collaborated, okay, with someone in order to establish holding on to this wealth. And the cards that just came out from this recent shuffle is the Five of Pentacles. So perhaps the judgment that has been called on this individual or individuals is to go through a Five of Pentacles situation. So what is a Five of Pentacles situation? Five of Pentacles situation is where, if you look at the card, it's kind of like some folks are in a bit of finding themselves a bit destitute, finding themselves where they really have to figure out how to make it through a tough time. So perhaps their judgment is losing whatever it was that they collaborated to hold on to so tightly that ended up being the wrong choice that they now want to apologize about. Okay. And so the figures in this reading that this is pertaining to is someone who had a Queen of Pentacles status. Seems that individual is going to be landing, or perhaps has landed, in a position where they are going through a tough time, or maybe going through a tough time. And then we've also got a King of Swords energy, where that is also the situation for them having been placed under judgment. Okay. So we've got the who, we've got the what. We don't really know why they did what they did, other than to kind of process that perhaps it had something to do to just really just holding on to something. What was it that they wanted to hold on to so tightly from kind of like a miserly position? And what did they do where they had all of this ability to manifest greatness, but they used it in a way that with malicious intent? And when you do things with malicious intent, it can come back to bite you. So I think that's it for this story. We kind of got the the players who have been placed under judgment. Let's see if there's anything else. And perhaps they were lovers. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me, thank you so much for these insights. And if there's anything else that I'm to be made aware of, wow, to relay. Okay. So it appears that another part of this judgment here is an ending. Okay. So what could an ending be? Perhaps, we saw that Lover's card out there. Not sure where that is in the deck right now. But perhaps part of this judgment that they are under is landing them in a position where there's a death to something. Okay. What could this mean? A death to a situation, And then we've got this 8 of Cups card out here. And it looks like this person's kind of looking off into the distance to try to see where's that ninth cup at? So perhaps it was a death to whatever their relationship may have been, right? Perhaps it was a death to the collaboration. So maybe they're kind of moving on, but finding themselves in a position where they both kind of have to start over. This can mean a whole lot of different things. So in this case, we'll just say it's an ending so that there could be a new beginning, right? And so perhaps that new beginning for one or both, who knows who's on the other end of this story, however it resonates for whoever's watching, perhaps they just have to look forward, look ahead to other opportunities to do better, right? Because when you're placed under judgment, that means you did something that you shouldn't have done. But there's still an opportunity to modify the behavior, right? Let's see what happens here. What do they do? What does the person do? Whoever's resonating with this, what do you do when you're given another opportunity to be able to create a situation for yourself? Do you make the wrong decision again? Or do you choose differently? So that's it for this message. I'm going to leave it there. This was a little bit of a heavy message, but let's see if I can offer some inspiration. I'm going to pull a card from this Archangel Power Tarot deck, okay? Because, seeing people be in a position where judgment has been called on them, it's kind of like being in a courtroom and then hearing someone has a guilty verdict. I would presume for someone in that type of a situation, it could kind of be like a punch to the gut, or some real tough experience to go through. And sometimes people can be placed in that type of a situation spiritually as well. Spiritual judgment that can then translate into it happening in the natural realm. There's the spiritual world, natural world, You know, folks can call them, have different terms for what they label those. I'll call them dimensions or frequencies, levels of frequency, let's call it that. Let's see. All right. So, I'm going to pick a card from here. Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Please help guide this. What is a word? Okay. All right. So, this here, to be honest, seems a little opposite emotionally wise from the reading. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to see if there's anything else. This says Three of Raphael, reasons to celebrate. Okay. So perhaps this reading, this message, whoever's resonating with this right now as you're watching this, perhaps you have a reason to celebrate. Okay. As a result of this situation being underway, as a result of judgment happening to the individuals that perhaps were in opposition to whatever it is that you are or was to experience. So perhaps you, the one who has the reasons to celebrate. A community of friends. Happy announcements regarding relationships or children. Okay. Let's see, what else? Source, higher self, Holy Spirit guides, angels of the highest vibration, ancestors who love me. Thank you so much. We've got 2 more cards, and then I'll leave it there. All right. So we've got 9 of Gabriel. Stay determined and move forward. Be prepared for any possibility. Environmental activism. Then we've got the World with Archangel Michael. A very happy ending. Coming full circle. Spiritual growth and insight. Okay. So hopefully this gives you some inspiration, you know, as we worked through this story of a King of Swords and a Queen of Pentacles energy having been placed under judgment, which would then be a reason for you to celebrate if you're resonating with this, because they were in opposition to what it is that you're calling, the calling on your life, what it is that you're supposed to be doing. They were in opposition to that. They were trying to stop that. They were trying to halt you from being your greatest version. And so, as a result of judgment being called on them, you have reasons to celebrate. So celebrate. Stay determined and move forward, because there's a very happy ending. I'm going to leave it there. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, consider giving it a like. I would appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for now. I'm Kerie Crystal Moonrise. And I'm going to read once again what I read at the start of this video. It is something that I was guided to put together. And so I'm going to read it here. Okay. And it says, I do not consent to the stalking, monitoring, or hacking of me or my children. I do not consent to any insurance policies of any kind taken out on me or any of my children without my consent. I have not given consent. I do not consent to anyone copying my energy or my likeness or my voice. If you would like to support me in my efforts, simply purchase something from my website at legacykeys.com. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Kerie Crystal Moonrise. Oh, and I also have a song out on the music streaming platforms. It's called Feels Good. And yeah, check it out by Empress Kerie. That's how I am known on the music streaming platforms. Okay, and if you've heard any growling sounds throughout this reading, I should probably remember to eat before I do these readings so that my stomach doesn't growl. But anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace.